Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English, and today we are going to do a lesson on the prepositions of place. So we are going to look at when we use the word in, on and at when we are talking about places. So let's get started. So we will look first at when to use the word at, and the first situation is when we want to talk about a specific point or place. For example, so here we have some stairs, and so we can say this is at the top of the stairs, and this is at the bottom of the stairs. Okay. Another example would be here we would say the cat is at the window. Okay. So again, window, this is a specific point or place. And some other examples would be, we can say at the door. So if somebody is at the door, or at the end of the street, for example, etc. So the first use is we can use the word at for a specific point or place. Okay. And we can also use the word at to talk about an exact address. An exact address is when we know the name of the street and also the number of the street. For example, he lives at 55 Oxford Street. So we know the number of the street, 55, and we know the name of the street, Oxford Street, and so we use the word at. He lives at 55 Oxford Street. But if we do not know the exact address, if we do not know the number of the street, then we do not use the word at. Okay, so here we do not know the number of the street, so we do not say at Oxford Street. We must say he lives on Oxford Street. Okay, he lives on Oxford Street, and he lives at 55 Oxford Street. That is the exact address. And another use of at is events. For example, at a party, at a conference. So this is a photograph of a conference. So we can say, this man, he is at a conference. At a meeting, or at a concert. Okay, so all of these are events. And so for an event, if somebody is going to an event, we say they are at a party, or they are at a concert. And also, when we are discussing the building where an event happens or an activity takes place, we also use the word at. So we can say at the cinema. So there's the cinema. So we can say, for example, Andrew is at the cinema, or at the library, at the town hall, at the police station, etc. So these are buildings in which there is an event or activity, and so we use the word at. Okay, and we also use the word at when somebody is at somebody's house. So, for example, he is at Andrew's house. She lives at her parents' house. Okay, so when we are talking about somebody's house, we always use the word at. And we also use the word at for a stop on a journey, like a break on a journey. Okay. For example, we stopped at a nice village. The train to Manchester stops at Birmingham. Okay, at Birmingham. So this is the only time when we are talking about towns and cities. This is the only time that we use the word at. Okay, and we will see the other preposition that we use for towns and cities later in the lesson. Okay, so this is the only time we use the word at for a city. And finally, for the word at, we also have some expressions. So there are no rules for these. You must just learn them. Okay. So he is at school, at home, at university, at work, at reception, at church. There is obviously a photograph of the church. And if you notice, for all of these expressions, we do not use the word the. Okay. So, for example, we do not say he is at the school. Okay. So the general rule is that these are expressions and we do not use the word the. Okay. So for all of these expressions, we use the word at to describe where somebody is. Now let's look at the word on. Well, the main use is when something is on a surface. So, for example, on the wall. And this is an example here. For example, we can say there is some graffiti on the wall. Or we could say there is a photograph on the wall. And we can also say on the ceiling, on the floor, on the blackboard, on the table, on the page, etc. So you can see all of these examples, they are all surfaces, either horizontal surfaces or vertical surfaces, and we always use the word on. Okay, and now let's look at number 2. So if something is attached to something else, we use the word on. So for example, she is wearing a ring on her finger. So there we have a photograph. So there is her finger. There is the ring. The ring is attached to her finger, and so we say she is wearing a ring on her finger. And another example, there are 3 apples on the tree. So the apples are attached to the tree, so we use the word on, etc. We also use the word on when we are talking about something which is close to the coast, or a river, or a road. So for example, Brighton is a town on the south coast of England. London is on the River Thames. So, for example, here is London, the city of London, and London is next to a river called the River Thames. But we do not say next to the river, we say London is on the River Thames, because it is a river. So a town is on a river, and that means it is next to the river. And again, we can say he lives on Oxford Street. Okay, and we saw this earlier, in fact. So when we are talking about a road or a street, and we do not know the exact address, we only know the person and the street name, then we use the word on, etc. And we also have some expressions for the word on. On a farm, on the left, or on the right. And in a building which has several levels, the levels are called floors, and we use the word on. So we say Mark lives on the ground floor, Sarah lives on the first floor, and David lives on the second floor. On the radio, so for example, if there is a song on the radio. On television, for example, here we say there is a film on television. And we also say on a ship. There are a few other expressions, but those are the most important ones. And now let's look at the word in. So in we use for an enclosed space or a large place which has boundaries around it. Example, in the bag, in the bedroom. We can say the bed is in the bedroom. In the forest. So this forest is a place which has boundaries. So David is playing in the forest. In the garden. In the car park. And so we can say, for example, this car is in the car park. Okay, so we use the word in. We do not say at the car park or on the car park. We say in the car park. In the desert, etc. And this is a very important one. This is very common. So we use the word in when we are talking about towns or cities. So he lives in Manchester. Okay. We do not say he lives at Manchester. We say he lives in Manchester. Andrew is in the village. They are in London to visit Tower Bridge. So here is Tower Bridge, which is in London. So this is very important. Towns or cities, we use the word in, etc. And finally, there are some expressions again for the word in. In the newspaper. So we say, I read an article in the newspaper. In bed. So the girl is in bed. In hospital. In prison. In the sky. So the aeroplane is in the sky. In a photograph. There is a photograph of my parents. My parents are in the photograph. And if we are talking about an armchair, we say that we sit in an armchair. But if it is a normal chair or a stool, we say we sit on a chair or we sit on a stool. So in is an exception for armchair. Notice that some of these we do not use the word the. So we say in bed. We do not say in the bed. We do not say in the hospital. We say, for example, my father is ill. He is in hospital. We do not say he is in the hospital. Again, since these are expressions, you must learn. There is no rule. In fact, you must just learn them. Okay, there is no choice. And in the water or in the sea. So the children are playing in the water, in the sea. Okay? So that is it. That is the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to subscribe, then you can click here on the screen. Here is my Twitter account in the middle. And at the bottom here, this is another video which you might be interested in. This one is a vocabulary lesson of items in the bedroom. So again, you can click on the screen here if you would like to watch that video. Okay, thank you very much for watching. My name is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Thanks for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.